Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back once again. Today's story will have a beginning, but it won't have an ending. Why am I saying this? You'll find out in a while. The story begins by showing a deserted road with an unknown car parked on the side. The strange thing is, the car is started, but there's no one inside. It looks like it has been left running for a long time. Now, who was here? Whose car is this? To know all this, let's go back some time. We see four friends who are about to start their careers. Today, they decided to meet one last time and spend some time together. Because after this, who knows when they'll get another chance to meet. They drove out of the city and kept driving, getting bored after a while. Then Taylor realized that maybe he had missed a turn. But when he checked the GPS, there was no turn behind or ahead. It just kept going. Frustrated, he made a U-turn and drove faster. But suddenly, bushes appeared in front of him, and it turned out the road ended there. The strange part was that they had just come from this road, and now suddenly, dense forest had grown. Taylor couldn't believe his eyes and got out of the car to investigate. He thought maybe they took a wrong turn. To confirm, he lifted some soil to see if there was a road beneath. But the ground showed that this forest was centuries old. At that moment, James arrived, and both of them started inspecting the area. Suddenly, James saw something terrifying, like someone was sitting in the forest. Before he could explain, suddenly a group of people started running from the forest towards them. Both were frozen in fear. But the people didn't harm them. They ran straight to the car and asked for help from Def and Fresher inside. They were so desperate that they even grabbed Fresher's hand. Seeing this, the two outside realized that the people only wanted the car. So they signaled Def to come inside. He understood and quickly started the car, reversing to allow the others to get in. This way, they all got away safely. For a while, their lives were hanging by a thread. The scene was so terrifying and chaotic that they felt it tenfold. A deserted forest and suddenly thousands of people running toward them. Their hearts could almost jump out of their chests. But the question remained, who were these people? And why did they want only the car? After escaping that terrifying scene, they felt a bit alive again. But Def noticed the car's fuel was running out. They couldn't stop yet, as it seemed the people were still chasing them. Meanwhile, Fresher's hand was bleeding heavily. So Def had to tie his wound tightly to stop the bleeding. Then they saw the group again, but this time they were different from the previous ones. And no, these were not zombies, nor was there any virus. The matter was far more terrifying than that. For now, Def just drove the car without stopping. After nearly 5 hours of driving, Def had to switch seats, but the fuel was still the same. For the past 5 hours, the fuel hadn't decreased, even though the gauge showed it empty. Were they running on water or air? Things were getting complicated, but they ignored it because their main focus was still the mold in the forest. They occasionally stopped the car to stretch but never turned it off, fearing it wouldn't start again. Soon, more people appeared, and they quickly got back into the car and drove away. Things were becoming unbearable. Def told everyone they needed to talk, or they'd just keep wandering here endlessly. Were there always people like this in the forest? Would the road ever end? James, the most intelligent of the four, suggested they might all be dead, and what was happening was an afterlife experience. Everyone was shocked. How could this be? James explained that when they reached the dead end last night, maybe Taylor had crashed the car, killing them, and everything since was happening as they felt, not as they saw. But Fresher's bleeding hand disproved this theory. They were alive, just like living corpses, moving without rest because stopping could have been fatal. With no choice, they continued driving, switching seats, trying to manage. They even tried the radio, but it didn't work. The four friends sat silently, all thinking about how they got trapped in this cursed place. James suggested another theory. Maybe they had triggered a curse, and now they were being punished for their deeds. But they hadn't done anything wrong. Their lives had just begun. James even apologized to his friends in case he made any mistakes. They realized that driving endlessly would achieve nothing. They needed strategies to either get out or find answers. First, they stopped a car in the forest and honked, also setting a timer for 1.5 minutes to ensure the crowd wouldn't attack them immediately, giving them time to plan an escape. Def created a plan to make the most of this time. They occasionally stopped the car, sending someone into the forest to find answers. Nothing significant happened. The forest remained empty and mysterious. Finally, they decided to interrogate one of the people. They stopped the car and Def reversed, buying time. They picked a woman lying among others and asked who she was and what this place was. She refused to answer, but as soon as 1.5 minutes were up, she screamed for help, allowing the friends to rush back to the car safely. Fresher even suspected they were trapped in a time loop. To check, he placed a piece of wood on the road. Later, it was gone, proving the forest was immense and filled with unknown secrets. Absolutely. Here's the continuation of your story translated into English, with the timestamps removed. They were completely stuck. The car started moving again, but now everyone was bored. Occasionally, they stopped to do some exercises and have brief conversations, as they had finally understood the 1.5-minute trick. But strangely, their age wasn't increasing. Was time itself frozen? One day, something unusual happened. Car appeared in front of them. They rushed to check it, but no one was inside. The astonishing part was that there were no keys either. Whoever had been driving had left the car and taken the keys so no one else could use it. Even more shocking, the car had traveled 1,000,000 kilometers. Everyone was stunned. How could this even be possible? Meanwhile, Taylor was completely overwhelmed. He didn't know what to do, so he did something unthinkable. He floored the car at full speed, hoping to end everything, to finish the story once and for all. But his friends in the back panicked, and he was forced to stop the car. It was later revealed that Taylor had driven the car 56,000 miles inside the forest. An absolutely shocking feat. Just driving that far could take someone around the entire Earth, and this had all happened within the forest. After enduring all this, Taylor lost hope. He walked alone into the forest, refusing to continue, exhausted and unwilling to be part of the game. Though James asked him to come back, he refused. When the car returned, Def called for Taylor, but he wouldn't come. Seeing this, the others got back into the car quickly. James explained that Taylor had given up on life, seeing it as better than staying trapped there. This revelation shook everyone. They never imagined it could come to this. They knew they were in trouble, but not to this extreme. They resumed driving, occasionally stopping to laugh or play slightly, releasing some of their frustration. But as soon as they returned to the car, the memory of the dealer haunted them again. Fear crept in. Who would be next? James, however, was focused. His mind was set only on moving forward. Whatever happens, happens ahead. Perhaps the end, if any, lay further ahead. He instructed his friends to stay in the car while he drove. Gradually, they started encountering more cars in the forest, but none had drivers. Eventually, they saw a car with a driver nearby, in a miserable state. James realized that the driver had probably been stuck there driving endlessly, just like them. A strange thing happened. More than 1.5 minutes had passed, and the group hadn't caught up yet. This meant they had reached further than ever before, giving them more time to take longer breaks. But James didn't rest. He told his friends to stay in the back as he drove alone. A mix of determination and joy filled him. Finally, he saw a way out. However, his friends had lost hope. They had no reason to live, constantly asking for breaks. James insisted they stay seated, almost as if trapping them in the car. They didn't like it, so Fresher tried to take the keys, leading to a brief scuffle. James managed to retrieve the keys and started driving again, alone, as the others resigned themselves to waiting for death. James refused to give up. He kept driving, his sole goal being escape. Days passed, then months, then years. The miles he covered reached hundreds of thousands. He never stopped, and eventually he saw rain, a first in his long journey. Was freedom near? The rain stopped, and he continued driving, repeating the same cycle. Months later, he reached a place marked Road ND. With dense forest ahead, countless cars were parked there, suggesting that other drivers had arrived with hope, only to find despair. Seeing this, James was completely broken. Alone, with his friends left behind, he continued the endless journey, hoping someday to meet them again. He took another driver along, speaking to them, as the journey alone was far too harsh. He didn't know how long the road would stretch. If the story continued, it might go on forever. As I said in the beginning, it truly has no end. The truth is, this story has no fixed ending. It's up to you to decide how you want it to end. Comment below and tell us how you think this story should end. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.